So today we are making a Viking Seax, or Seax, or Sax, or Saax, or CX-A12. Anyways. But that's not very specific because Sax vary a lot in profile, in complexity, decorations both on the sheath and the blade, and overall size. So today we're just going to be focusing on the broken back Sax, which is found primarily in Britain. It widens out for the first 2/3 of the blade and then tapers down towards the point, very similar to a modern clip point. The edge can be straight down the entire length or curve up towards the tip. So let's get started. As you can see, we have a beautiful Wisconsin winter day here, perfect for doing things that you can't really wear gloves while doing, like screwing around with cameras and touchscreens. But we're not here to talk about my suffering, hopefully. We're here to talk about the shop. And to start off with, of course, we have the forge here, just a bunch of fire brick and concrete brick where the heat won't be, and a cheap little blower that works mostly. And of course we have the coke, not that kind of coke. We have a lot of different springs, hammers, tools, the anvil. Of course you got a workbench here, belt grinder, filing jig, vise, and of course a big open window with a fan so that I don't suffocate. Of course you got everything you always want to have, like water and hot chocolate and political messaging, of course, always necessary. And lots of tools, lots of messy buckets of scrap of every metal that you could possibly imagine. In this case, that's 5. Very imaginative. Got a little bit of a trip hammer here I bought and repainted. That will be useful at some point. My legs are not very strong. But anyways, yeah, enough talking about all that. Let's actually get into what we're going to be doing, because that's the actual interesting part. So the first thing we need to do is find some good steel. That's some good steel.
And so I got this ridiculous getup on so that I don't have to spend 5 hours pulling metal slivers out of my face and hands and neck and lungs. And instead, I can spend 5 hours editing this video to make it marginally more entertaining. Turn that on, so again, application.
So we'll start by cutting out the tang. Now, very early on, I decided I don't want to look like an idiot while holding an angle grinder, but then I realized how quickly my glove would catch on fire. So wanting to keep my fingers scar-free, I decided I really don't care how I look. So what I'm trying to say in this part is that you should only do as much work as you have to with dullable or degradable tools, and the rest with leverage or force. This saves you both money and, if you'd otherwise have to resharpen tools, a good bit of time. You really cannot hear me at all. So now that we're done cutting out the tang, we can move on to the other end and start cutting the tip. Now, I forced myself into an awkward position, but I've done that plenty of times with the angle grinder, and I'm pretty used to it. Unfortunately, the clamp isn't so used to being as awkward as I am, so I had to reclamp it several times. So now we're thinning out the first portion of the blade because the broken back Seax gets wider towards the tip rather than thinner. Now, when I show you it in a second, it doesn't look great, but it'll come out of the forge looking much better. Once again, only cutting as much as I have to in order to break it off the rest of the way.
Got this mostly cut out. Looks janky as hell right now, but we will hammer and bevelers, maybe thin this out further along here, but it will all widen out and it will look much more like an actual tool and weapon. So let's get the fire started so I can stop freezing my ass off. Mostly works. Mostly.
So what you can see me doing here is lifting the workpiece off of the anvil between each hammer strike, because the anvil essentially acts as a gigantic heat sink, and while you might only be lifting it off for a fraction of a second each time, that still adds up. Now, this is especially important for small workpieces, but also the small parts of larger workpieces, like the tang of a blade. Well, not sure how much footage I lost there, but cut off the end of it and started flattening the blade out so it doesn't look like a band house.
Alright, so after all this, we finally have a straight edge and a relatively straight blade, both in the front and the back. So this, from here on out, we'll just need to grind it and then heat treat it.
I swear this workshop is the perfect size. And that does it for today. If you guys enjoyed the content, you can support me by buying from my Etsy shop. You can also follow me on YouTube, Instagram, and Rumble. I'll be doing a giveaway there soon enough. And I will see you all tomorrow.